Go means go. After Mr. P left, I sat on the porch for a long time and thought about my life. What the heck was I supposed to do? I felt like life had just knocked me on my ass. I was so happy when Mom and Dad got home from work. "Hey, little man," Dad said. "Hey, Dad. Mom." "Junior, why are you looking so sad?" Mom asked. She knew stuff. I didn't know how to start, so I just started with the biggest question. "Who has the most hope?" I asked. Mom and Dad looked at each other. They studied each other's eyes, like they had antennas and were sending radio signals to each other. And then they both looked back at me. "Come on," I said. "Who has the most hope?" "White people," my parents said at the same time. That's exactly what I thought they were going to say. So I said the most surprising thing they'd ever heard from me. "I want to transfer schools," I said. "You want to go to Hunter's?" Mom asked. "It's another school on the west end of the reservation filled with poor Indians and poorer white kids. Yes, there is a place in the world where the white people are poorer than the Indians." "No," I said. "You want to go to Springdale?" Dad asked. "It's a school on the reservation border filled with the poorest Indians and poorer than poorest white kids. Yes, there is a place in the world where the white people are even poorer than you ever thought possible." "I want to go to Reardon," I said. Reardon is the rich white farm town that sits in the wheat fields exactly 22 miles away from the res. And it's a hick town, I suppose, filled with farmers and rednecks and racist cops who stop every Indian that drives through. During one week when I was little, Dad got stopped 3 times for DWI, driving while Indian. But Reardon has one of the best small schools in the state, with a computer room and a huge chemistry lab and a drama club and 2 basketball gyms. The kids in Reardon are the smartest and most athletic kids anywhere. They are the best. "I want to go to Reardon," I said again. I couldn't believe I was saying it. For me, it seemed as real as saying, "I want to fly to the moon." "Are you sure?" my parents asked. "Yes," I said. "When do you want to go?" my parents asked. "Right now," I said. "Tomorrow." "Are you sure?" my parents asked. "You could maybe wait until the semester break. Or until next year? Get a fresh start?" "No. If I don't go now, I never will. I have to do it now." "Okay," they said. Yep, it was that easy with my parents. It was almost like they'd been waiting for me to ask them if I could go to Reardon, like they were psychics or something. I mean, they've always known that I'm weird and ambitious, so maybe they expect me to do the weirdest things possible. And going to Reardon is truly a strange idea. But it isn't weird that my parents so quickly agreed with my plans. They want a better life for my sister and me. My sister is running away to get lost, but I'm running away because I want to find something. And my parents love me so much that they want to help me. Yeah, Dad is a drunk and Mom is an ex-drunk, but they don't want their kids to be drunks. "It's going to be hard to get you to Reardon," Dad said. "We can't afford to move there, and there ain't no school bus going to come out here." "You'll be the first one to ever leave the res this way," Mom said. "The Indians around here are going to be angry with you." Shoot. I figure that my fellow tribal members are going to torture me. Rowdy sings the blues. So the day after I decided to transfer to Reardon, and after my parents agreed to make it happen, I walked over to the tribal school and found Rowdy sitting in his usual place on the playground. He was alone, of course. Everybody was scared of him. "I thought you were on suspension, dickwad," he said, which was Rowdy's way of saying, "I'm happy you're here." "Kiss my ass," I said. I wanted to tell him that he was my best friend and I loved him like crazy. But boys didn't say such things to other boys, and nobody said such things to Rowdy. "Can I tell you a secret?"
Wait.
I asked. "It better not be girly," he said. "It's not." "Okay then, tell me." "I'm transferring to Reardon." Rowdy's eyes narrowed. His eyes always narrowed right before he beat the crap out of someone. I started shaking. "That's not funny," he said. "It's not supposed to be funny," I said. "I'm transferring to Reardon. I want you to come with me." "And when are you going on this imaginary journey?" "It's not imaginary. It's real. And I'm transferring now. I start school tomorrow at Reardon." "You better quit saying that," he said. "You're getting me mad." I didn't want to get him mad. When Rowdy got mad, it took him days to get unmad. But he was my best friend, and I wanted him to know the truth. "I'm not trying to get you mad," I said. "I'm telling the truth. I'm leaving the res, man, and I want you to come with me. Come on. It will be an adventure." "I don't even drive through that town," he said. "What makes you think I want to go to school there?" He got up, stared me hard in the eyes, and then spit on the floor. Last year, during 8th grade, we traveled to Reardon to play them in flag football. Rowdy was our star quarterback and kicker and middle linebacker, and I was the loser water boy. And we lost to Reardon by the score of 45-0. Of course, losing isn't exactly fun. Nobody wants to be a loser. We all got really mad and vowed to kick their asses the next game. But 2 weeks after that, Reardon came to the res and beat us 56-10. During basketball season, Reardon beat us 72-45 and 86-50, our only 2 losses of the season. Rowdy scored 24 points in the first game and 40 in the second game. I scored 9 points in each game, going 3 for 10 on 3-pointers in the first game and 3 for 15 in the second. Those were my 2 worst games of the season. During baseball season, Rowdy hit 3 home runs in the first game against Reardon and 2 home runs in the second, but we still lost by scores of 17-3 and 12-2. I played in both losses and struck out 7 times and was hit by a pitch once. Sad thing is, getting hit like that was my only hit of the season. After baseball season, I led the Welpina Junior High Academic Bowl team against Reardon Junior High, and we lost by a grand total of 50-1. Yep, we answered 1 question correctly. I was the only kid, white or Indian, who knew that Charles Dickens wrote A Tale of Two Cities, and let me tell you, we Indians were the worst of times, and those Reardon kids were the best of times. Those kids were magnificent. They knew everything, and they were beautiful. They were beautiful and smart. They were beautiful and smart and epic. They were filled with hope. I don't know if hope is white, but I do know that hope for me is like some mythical creature. Man, I was scared of those Reardon kids. And maybe I was scared of hope too. But Rowdy absolutely hated all of it. Rowdy, I said, I am going to Reardon tomorrow. For the first time, he saw that I was serious. But he didn't want me to be serious. You'll never do it, he said. You're too scared. I'm going, I said. No way, you're a wuss. I'm doing it. You're a pussy. I'm going to Reardon tomorrow. You're really serious? Rowdy, I said. I'm as serious as a tumor. He coughed and turned away from me. I touched his shoulder. Why did I touch his shoulder? I don't know. I was stupid. Rowdy spun around and shoved me. Don't touch me, you retarded fag, he yelled. My heart broke into 14 pieces, 1 for each year that Rowdy and I had been best friends. I started crying. That wasn't surprising at all, but Rowdy started crying too. And he hated that. He wiped his eyes, stared at his wet hand, and screamed. I'm sure that everybody on the res heard that scream. It was the worst thing I'd ever heard. It was pain. Pure pain. Rowdy, I'm sorry, I said, I'm sorry. He kept screaming. You can still come with me, I said. You're still my best friend. Rowdy stopped screaming with his mouth, but he kept screaming with his eyes. You always thought you were better than me, he yelled. No, I don't think I'm better than anybody. I think I'm worse than everybody else. Why are you leaving? I have to go. I'm going to die if I don't leave. I touched his shoulder again and Rowdy flinched. Yes, I touched him again. What kind of idiot was I? I was the kind of idiot that got punched hard in the face by his best friend. Bang, Rowdy punched me. Bang, I hit the ground. Bang, my nose bled like a firework. I stayed on the ground for a long time after Rowdy walked away. I stupidly hoped that time would stand still if I stayed still. But I had to stand eventually. And when I did, I knew that my best friend had become my worst enemy. How to fight monsters. The next morning, Dad drove me the 22 miles to Reardon. I'm scared, I said. I'm scared too, Dad said. He hugged me close. His breath smelled like mouthwash and lime vodka. You don't have to do this, he said. You can always go back to the res school. No, I said. I have to do this. Can you imagine what would have happened to me if I turned around and gone back to the res school? I would have been pummeled, mutilated, crucified. You can't just betray your tribe and then change your mind 10 minutes later. I was on a one-way bridge. There was no way to turn around, even if I wanted to. Just remember this, my father said. Those white people aren't better than you. But he was so wrong, and he knew he was wrong. He was the loser Indian father of a loser Indian son living in a world built for winners. But he loved me so much. He hugged me even closer. This is a great thing, he said. You're so brave. You're a warrior. It was the best thing he could have said. Hey, here's some lunch money, he said, and handed me $1. We were poor enough to get free lunch, but I didn't want to be the only Indian and a sad sack who needed charity.